Outside of EB Games or Best Buy or anywhere else that sells video games, I have always hated going to the mall. I always thought that the air was tainted and there was stores all over the place that were overpriced, and the food court is always food that is normally super bad for you and just boring. I have been pretty successful at avoiding malls. I think the only thing that could make a mall that is packed with people worse was if it was completely abandoned, because you wouldn't know what is in there while you're walking around inside of it, and it would feel like a zombie's gonna run out and eat your face like when I see a taquito when I'm drunk at 2 a.m. Hello again, Most Amazing Top 10 family. I'm your host, Jade Arena, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Today we are going to be counting down the top 10 abandoned malls you shouldn't visit. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. And stick around for the whole list, because I'm going to be reading out some more questions from my Instagram inbox. If you want me to answer one of your questions, you can hit me up through the gram. Without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, we have Tallahassee Mall, Tallahassee, Florida. Here's one that's holding on by the skin of its teeth. In fact, this mall was shut down in 2011, but a company saw this as a great opportunity to get some money and they bought back up the lease. So this place should be abandoned, but someone out there thought a dying mall was a great investment. I don't know what was going on through their head. If I was trying to make some profit, I don't think I would look at a place that is being propped up by GameSpot and Toys R Us. I'm sure post-COVID that this mall just got launched into the dust and the whole area is just a wasteland. Coming at number 9, we have the North Bridge Mall, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The YouTubers Proper People love to go around and explore abandoned buildings, and malls are no exception. They usually go through the states to find new places to explore, and this time they were heading through a mall and ran into some pretty interesting things. The whole place is blown out. Looks like a bomb went off. All the windows are smashed in and everything is ripped out of the stores. They should really rent this thing for horror movies, because the whole thing has like an end of the world vibe. Certain areas of the roof were caved in, and I think there's broken glass on every inch of that mall. At one point they get confronted by a security guard who tells them that they need to get out of the broken down mall because apparently they were trespassing. They managed to convince them that they need to go back and get equipment before they leave to keep exploring the mall. So much of the stuff in the mall is dated because it has been closed down for so long. It actually would be fun to go through and pillage out a bunch of the decade-old material to decorate your house. You could give it this pulled out of time vibe. Coming in at number 8, we have the South China Mall. Here's a mall that you might want to stay away from, because if you go too deep into it, you might end up missing. Not because there's some crazy serial killer in there who wants to wear your face like a mask. Well, there might be. I haven't done my own investigative work, but just the size of this will blow your mind. The thing is 9 million square feet. Holy cow, that's a massive space that's being used for nothing. The mall was thrown up by a billionaire who got rich with a certain brand of instant noodles. Not a bad idea. Build a mall, you'll be making money off the rent, and then you could sell noodles in the food court. Brilliant! Well, it turns out no one wanted to go to this massive mall because the place shut down not long after it opened. And in case you were wondering, the dude is still a billionaire, which is the kind of rich you want to get to, where you can drop a ton of money making a massive mall and then have it fail and not even worry about it. Coming in at number 7, we have the Steph Lawless Mall. Now, I couldn't get the name for this mall because YouTuber Steph Lawless doesn't mention what mall he is visiting in the comments, in the description, or in the video itself, but the whole thing looks like a massive death trap. That looks like a place where you'd find a bunch of dead bodies and then they would come to life and do some sort of weird surgery on you to make them your leader. Well, that got dark quick. But the whole place is completely destroyed and has a terrible vibe. Not the place you want to host a birthday party. Coming in at number 6, we have El Con Center, Tucson, Arizona. Now, this mall has a little bit of life left in it, but it's definitely going to die. The thing has slowly been going down like a fat kid down a water slide. He might get stuck a few times, but eventually he will hit the water, and when he does, it's going to be a big splash. The mall had store after store go out of business, and new places aren't that excited to grab a spot in the mall because the whole thing looks like a desolate wasteland. In fact, to save money and make the mall easier to navigate, their owner had part of the mall demolished. He basically had a crew come in and tear down all the stuff that wasn't being used so everyone could get to the last few shops a little bit better. That's like when you get bit by a zombie in a horror movie and they need to cut your arm off so you don't die from the infection and it doesn't spread. But let me tell you, when that happens in the movie, that guy always dies. Except for maybe in like Evil Dead when he gets the cool chainsaw arm. Coming in at number 5, we have the Fredericktown Mall, Maryland. YouTuber Chris Hopkins goes to an abandoned mall in Maryland. Before he gets into the mall, he sees squatters all set up on the outside of the mall, so there's a good chance that some people are using this mall for housing. A lot of the lights are still operating in the mall, so that means that some of the electrical could still be working, which would be awesome because there is a full arcade in this place. But I don't know how long you'd want to hang out in there, because while walking through, they came across some swastikas spray painted on the walls with something written in German. That could mean that the place is being used as a Nazi meetup. I don't know how happy they would be to find you in their clubhouse. There was also some dude riding around the mall on a motorcycle popping wheelies. That sounds like a Mad Max gang member circling the mall to see if anyone's on his turf. Coming in at number 4, we have the Dixie Square Mall from Illinois. This mall was actually famous for a short time. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Blues Brothers? Well, if you haven't and you're a fan of music, you should check it out. But the mall was used for some of the movie. Everyone thought this would make the mall skyrocket to success, but it turns out crime is more powerful than fame. The violence in the area eventually led to the mall being shut down. Coming in number 3, we have Rolling Acres Mall, Ohio. If you want to see what nature will do to our structures when we are all dead and gone, this is a perfect thing to look at. The Rolling Acres Mall in Ohio stands as a monument to winter winning over man. The mall's roof has been ripped through by the harsh winters that the Ohio climate brings, which is kind of cool. If you visit this place in the wintertime, there will be snow that will pile up in the mall through the roof, and it looks like the area that you go in The Last of Us DLC where the helicopters crash to the roof. I very much like that. Coming in at number 2, the New World Mall, Thailand. If you're working on a building and it doesn't get done, most of the time you would think that it gets torn down. Well, that costs a lot of money too, so sometimes the building will just stand there and not go anywhere, and it just stands as a monument of what could have been. The shell of the New World Mall is pretty impressive. The whole building was supposed to be an 11-story tall mall and was said to be one of the largest malls in the world. It would have been a bustling tourist attraction as well as a place for foreign investors to dump some money into the country. But what ended up happening is partway through the building process, it was discovered that the building crew wasn't following most of the regulations put in place to keep the building safe, and this led to the whole thing being shut down. That was over 40 years ago. A big problem with that was that the builders never finished the roof, so rain started to pool in the basement of the mall. This led to a massive mosquito infestation that would spread out to the surrounding areas. How this was dealt with was fish were released into the water to consume all of the mosquitoes. You can now go down there to see a bunch of cool fish if you want. And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have the Cropla Shopping Center, Mexico City. The YouTuber Fearless and Far goes to check out one of the coolest abandoned malls I have ever seen in my life. This thing has a whole Greek mythology theme going on, which makes you think that there's going to be a gorgon in the basement waiting to turn you into stone with her gaze, when in reality it would probably be just some crazy person with scraggly hair who would throw rocks at you. But the whole place was supposed to be in the style of a Middle Eastern bazaar, which is super cool, but the unorthodox style could have added to the reason why it got shut down. But there were also rumors that it was involved in a massive money laundering scam. The building has been shut down for 20 years and now is covered in broken glass and spray paint tags. Alright everyone, that has been our list, and as promised I'm going to be reading out some comments from my Instagram inbox. Champagne Pappy wrote in and asked, favorite fast food restaurant? And yo, this is very hard, and honestly this won't be that exciting because I'm not in the United States. You guys over in the States have way more options. But if I'm going for comfort and cheap, I will say McDonald's. Whatever kind of addictive poison they're putting in their food over there drives me crazy. But if we're talking legit good, I will go Five Guys every time. Saul Be Out wrote in and asked, what was the first video game you ever played? My first video game was Duck Hunt on the NES. I was probably only 2 or 3 years old, and that was where my love for video games started, and I don't think I'll ever go back. I really see myself playing video games forever because it's my favorite form of entertainment, so Duck Hunt will always have a special place in my heart. Knockoff Dora wrote in and asked, why don't you let Pringles be an appetizer? For those of you who don't know, I asked what the best appetizer was on my Twitter, and Dora said Pringles, which does not count because it has to be menu official standardized rules. It has to be a standard app that you would see on a lot of menus. Things that we all understand as an app, like mozzarella sticks, jalapeno poppers, sweet potato fries, calamari. You gotta play by the rules or don't play at all. Alright everyone, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I have been your host, Che Dorena, and go in abandoned malls or don't, I don't know, I'm not responsible for you, so whatever. Bye. The mall was thrown up by a billionaire who got rich with a certain Now, I couldn't get the name for this mall, but coming in number 3, we have Rolling Acres Mall, Ohio. Ohio.